Hey guys, welcome to this tutorial. Today we're going to build a basic landing page with Bootstrap. So this is what the final project is going to look like. It's very basic and it's very quick using Bootstrap. So hopefully this tutorial won't be too long. The design is inspired from the Shopify landing page. I just changed a few things like the title. Didn't really change the text because this is not what we want to focus on. So let's go ahead and start our project. We're going to start by creating a folder. And open it with Visual Studio Code. Awesome. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to install Bootstrap inside of our HTML file. So we can go ahead and create it. And we can also create our CSS file already. Generate the boilerplate and link our CSS file. You can then go to the Bootstrap website and click on Get Started. Simply copy the CSS link. Be careful, make sure you put it before your own style sheet, otherwise you won't be able to overwrite the Bootstrap styles whenever you need to. We also copy the JavaScript script tags and put them at the end of our body. And we are ready to go. So the next thing we want to do, just to be ahead, is go to Font Awesome and be ready to use some of the icons. So you might need to make an account if you don't have one. I already have one, so I do not need. If you have one, you simply go to Kits and copy your kit inside of your head as well. It doesn't matter if you put it after the style or not. Okay, let's launch our live server, even though there's nothing to see yet. So, the next thing we want to do is go to a website that gives you Waves background called getwaves.io. Very useful when you want to design some cool backgrounds. They generate them for you as SVG files. So let's go and generate one with not too many waves. Make it random, it's always cool. This one's nice, but let's flip it and download. Awesome. So let's go ahead and start. We are going to create a header, which is going to have a background color the same as our wave. And the wave goes at the bottom. So we need to give it a height. Let's make it 60 VH, which stands for view height. And we can give it the background color. I already copied the same background color, so I'm just going to paste it. If you don't know how to get it, you simply need to inspect your file, right click, inspect, and get the color by hovering over it. We don't want this. Great. So, next thing we want to do is inside of our header we are going to create a container which is gonna have all of our information. Let me launch the example just so that we can see it. This is gonna be our container. So the container is already generated by Bootstrap. It already has the dimensions that Bootstrap has by default. What we want to do is already give it a class of text center so that our H tags and P tags go in the center automatically. We'll then create a div for the logo, and inside of this div we will create an image. We need to give it a block. We need to make it display as a block so that we can call display flex on it, so that we put the title of our website next to the logo of the website. So let's just get a random icon. It doesn't matter what it is, so let's just put website. Just make sure it's white because it's going to look much nicer on our blue background. So as soon as you find something you like, you just copy it. So I'm just going to say this, very random. It really doesn't matter. This is something you can change easily. We're going to make it white. And we are going to download it. Great. Let's put it in our folder. By convention, you are supposed to put it in an images folder, but since we are not really going to use more images, I'm just going to skip this part. And so let's call it in here. Configuration.svg. Configuration.svg. That's a little too big, isn't it? But it doesn't matter. So what we want to do is call the parent div and work on the parent div directly. So we will give it a width of 100% and a height of only 100 pixels. I think this should be fine. Let's display as flex. Why? Because we are going to add here an h2 tag with the class as logo name, which we will style a bit later. And you can enter here your website's name. So let's use the same name as I used before, developer space. And that's not exactly what we want. So let's keep on working on the logo. We want to line the items as center and justify the content as center as well. Now let's target the image that is inside of the logo class. One second, I have so many windows on the other screen. Awesome. So the logo image, we will give it a 60 pixels for starters. Yeah, I think that's actually fine. So that's enough for the logo image. That's literally it. What we can do next is style the logo name. Let's give it a color of white and a margin left of 10 pixels to space it a bit from the image. Nice. So we're pretty much done with the logo part. Now we're going to go below it and we are going to add the main heading title and the slogan, which is join more people like you, trusted by over blah blah blah. So let's go ahead and create an h2 with a class of main heading. That needs to be a dot main heading. Join more people like you. I'm not being very creative about that, but it doesn't matter again. Cool. And then we create a p tag with a class of slogan. And we say trusted by over 1 million developers, not 1 million developers worldwide. That's amazing. Awesome. So below that, we are going to have a row which is going to take the form where it's basically a call to action. Every landing page should have a call to action. In this case, it's simply asking for the email and has a button to start a trial. Below it, you can see that we have the condition. So let's go ahead and create this row already, and we'll style the rest later. So we create a row which takes 2 calls. This is how Bootstrap works, so you probably already know it. I won't go into it, but basically every Bootstrap grid has 12 columns. So we will assign the first input to 8 of them, and the second one for the rest. So you simply do call. You don't need to specify 4 because by default it knows that it takes up all the rest of this current row. So in here we will put an input, and we are going to give it the class of form control, which is a class from Bootstrap, to make it look like this. There we are. It's so easy, isn't it? Let's just add a placeholder and say enter email address. And on the next call, we can add a button. So let's add a button. We give it first a BTN class, which is a general class. And then we give it a more specific one. These are from Bootstrap as well. You can read the documentation to see more ones, or you can even just create your own button. In this case, we will use an outline primary. I'm going to change actually the color of this one. Start free trial. I'm going to change the color because it doesn't look very nice, the blue on the blue. So we can go to our styles and call the BTN, and you simply change the border color and the color of the text. So we are going to say 1px solid white, I think will look nicer, and the color to white as well. Now when you hover, it will still change colors, but it's always nice to have a little effect. Next step is add the little conditions below all this. So simply add a p tag. Let's call it condition text. Let's just copy the one from the example. We don't want to spend too much time on writing content. Alright, let's style a little bit. So the main heading is going to be white. And let's give it a bolder font weight to make it stand out. Also maybe a little margin top. Looks better. Now it's time for the slogan. Color white. And a font size of, let's say, 1.2 rems, which is about 20 pixels. Okay, yeah, that looks fine. We can go ahead also and style the condition text. Now this one is going to be smaller, but it's still going to be white. Font size, let's give it 0.7. Let's make it italic. And let's give it a margin top. It's too close to our call to action. 20 pixels as well. Okay. So, what is the next step now? The next step is to, maybe we can push our SVG a little bit. So to do so, we can do it several ways. So the container, we can change the height of the container. So we simply call the container, and height is also 60 view height. Okay, just to make the waves stand out a little bit more, so that, because before they were hidden behind our background, so now they are at the very bottom and they look much nicer. So what do we have next? We have this little image. So let's download it, or let's just copy the image address. And we can put our image. So let's go out of here and create a new container. We can then create, inside of this container, we create a div class, and let's give it a class of device image holder. And this is where we put our image. So I'm going to give it a class already of W100, which stands for width 100, so that it fills up the parent. Alright, yeah, it's giving us a white background. Okay, so before I had a little issue, very stupid actually, I simply forgot to go out of the header. So I told you go out of the header, but I was still having this tag below, which I couldn't see. So now I fixed it by just moving my new container outside of the first one. And you can see that it works. The background wasn't from the image, the background was simply from the container and the body. Alright, so let's keep moving. The almost last step is the cards. So, for the cards we are going to create a row with 3 columns. And each one of these is going to hold a card. Alright. So, a class of card, which is a Bootstrap class as well. And we can fill it up with the same content. Very active community as a title. So, card title. I'm still calling the Bootstrap class. I didn't make these. This is why we are saving so much time. So, the title is very active community. And this is not a div, my bad. We are going to put it as a p tag, so card title, very active community. We add another one with card text as a class. And this is where we paste what we copied before. And you can see that we get this border around it because by default the card class of Bootstrap does have a border, so we are going to remove this by overriding it in our style. This is why it's important to always put the Bootstrap before your own style sheet. So we can copy this, but first let's go to Font Awesome and grab a few icons. So the ones we use here are very basic: credit card, 3 people, and a laptop. You can use whichever. To make this go a little faster, I'm just going to use the same one each time, because changing an icon is nothing hard. Alright, so we're going to have to style the icon as well. So now let's copy this. Make sure you copy only the card and paste it inside of the other columns. Great. Let's go in our styles and remove that border from our card. We do this by simply setting the border to none. And we are also going to change the font size I think it should be smaller. It looks bigger than our example. Yeah, it seems nicer. Great. So the device holder image, we didn't style that. It seems a bit different from, seems too big. So device image holder, I think it was, and set it to a width of 80%, not 90, but 80%. Okay. Where is it? We want to center it, don't we? Great. So now we can call as well, MX stands for margin, and it's the horizontal margin, and we make it auto so that it centers it automatically. And here we are going to call MY to make a margin from top to bottom. Awesome. So let's style the icons by targeting them through our card. So we go in the card, and then we say the icons that are inside the card, we want them to have a size of 2.4 rem. Yeah. Color, let's give it the same color as the background. So color of the background, awesome, and a margin bottom to separate it from the text, 20. Yeah, seems fine. We can make the title a bit bolder, so we just call the strong tag in the title. I'll do it for one, and you can do it for the rest to make it separate, same as here. So last step, finally, we can go outside of this row. We call an HR to make this, and let's create a new row. Inside of the row, we create one column with 8. We can make it center already, and we will make the text that's inside of it center as well. So then we can simply put whatever we want. So the testimonial from Elon Musk. Yes, he really wrote one. We will put it in a p tag. Elon Musk, visionary. Ooh. And we put our button. So let's just call the Bootstrap class PTM primary. Start free trial. And there we are. Here's our landing page, very basic, and it really didn't take us a lot of time to do it. So well done, guys. Feel free to style it as much as you want, put some cool fonts, put some cool icons, and some better text. Change the colors, you can do this of course. And please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Peace.